It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, coming to you on location from the MSC Meraviglia as we are approaching Nassau in the Bahamas. As a matter of fact, just a couple minutes ago, we could see the skyline of the Atlantis off in the distance. I realize this is probably a little on the noisy side, folks, but that's what we're dealing with on a cruise ship with over 3,000 people. This is the biggest crowd that I've been in since the restart. We're sailing with 3,145 people on the Meraviglia with 810 kids, so there's a lot of kids on the ship. I am in the indoor pool area because it's still pretty cold and windy outside. But it's comfortable here, but there's a lot of kids that are in the pool and the inside because that's what kids do. Anyway, today is National Potato Chip Day. So just keep that in mind, folks. You need to have some potato chips somewhere along the way. I don't care if they're regulars or barbecues or some flavored ones. Have a potato chip today on National Potato Chip Day. Cruise ship sailing from North America ports today. Out in Charleston, you got the Carnival Sunshine, Port Canaveral, Carnival Liberty, the Disney Dream, Independence of the Seas. Our buddy Katie's going to be on that. And the Carnival Elation. Miami, you got the Norwegian Sky, Freedom of the Seas, Carnival Conquest, Disney Magic, Celebrity Summit. Over in Tampa, you've got Brilliance of the Seas sailing, Mobile, Carnival Ecstasy sails, Galveston, Adventure of the Seas. I'll be on that in a couple weeks. Carnival Breeze, both sail today. In Los Angeles, Long Beach, you got the Carnival Radiance, and San Pedro, the Navigator of the Seas. Despite the fact I'm on location on a cruise ship, I do have a couple breaking news stories this morning, which we'll get to in a bit. IATA calls for scrapping of COVID rules in Europe. Virgin cancels 3 Valiant Lady cruises. 22nd Carnival ship sales since the restart. 6 Oasis class ship, not the last. Costa has shuffled some ships. Hurtigruten and the Norwegian Coastal Express marked 130 years. Queen Anne to have a female captain, that's cool. South African Airline grounded indefinitely, and a whole lot more live this morning at 11 from the Meraviglia. If you listen to this broadcast via the podcast, you can always access it. You can always access it by going to my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or any of the places where you normally get podcasts, like TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and you'll come up with the old fat travel guy. All right, before we get to the news today, in all fairness, I have got to report some things I don't want to report about MSC. I'm going to have a sip of my Bloody Mary before I do. I am working on keeping my vegetable levels where they're supposed to be, folks. As a matter of fact, my buddy Rhea, who's my favorite bartender now, this is my second. All right. Yesterday at embarkation in Port Canaveral, it was awful for anybody that's mobility challenged. I got off the shuttle and went to where you check your bags. And of course, they checked my big suitcase. And I asked for a wheelchair assistance. And they said, oh, you can't get that here. I said, oh, yes, I can. They said, no, you can't. I said, well, give me your ADA compliance officer right now, because I do get a wheelchair to the curb. No, sir, you don't. You have to go around and take the elevator up a floor and go in there, and you can ask for a wheelchair there. I said, no. So I sat there about 5 minutes, and they kept on the walkie-talkie getting no help. So I said, okay, direct me to this elevator. So I went to the elevator, which was probably 70, 80 yard walk. Took the elevator upstairs a floor, went inside and asked for a wheelchair. And they said, oh, sorry, you have to go through security first before you can get to the wheelchair. They're on the other side of security. So I went through 3 levels of supervisors, and all told the same thing. They refused. I said, look, folks, I can't walk. I walk 10 yards. I got to have oxygen. Sorry. I said, you're putting my life at risk. You're sorry. So by the time I finally got through all the security, and I had to go through all the lines, all the kiosk winding lines, which took forever because I could walk about 10 feet, and then I just flopped down in my walker right in the middle and hold everything up until I was ready to move on again. So there's the old handicapped guy, and everybody is complaining and bitching because I'm blocking the lines. So finally got through all that mess, got to the wheelchair, which happened to, that's a ship person, not a land person. He took me, of course, onto the ship. And then he was going to drop me off at the elevator. I said, oh, no, you're not. You're taking me to my cabin. I have no idea where it is on this ship. You're taking me to my cabins where I can get my scooter. So I absolutely would not get out of his wheelchair until he took me to the cabin. So I did force that issue. So I did get to the cabin. I got my scooter. I went down immediately last night to guest services to try to get some ADA compliance officer or somebody in charge of special needs. I was not able to talk to anybody that had any teeth until this morning. I had a very good meeting this morning with the lady that's in charge of special needs on the Meraviglia, and her boss, who took down information. They are going to contact not only back to their home office, but to the MSC folks in Port Canaveral to see if they can't fix this issue for anyone that is handicapped or mobility challenged. So it was an awful day. By the time I got on board, I was worn out. So I wasn't able to do near yesterday what I normally would do on the first day of a cruise. But yeah, it was a pretty brutal day. I do have a couple things to share from yesterday before we get to the news. Of course, the most important thing for me yesterday was to find Elizabeth, which I did. So that's, of course, Elizabeth. She's on location. She works on the Meraviglia. And she introduced me to Ria, who's now become my favorite bartender. She's from the Philippines. She makes a wicked Bloody Mary. Of course, yesterday afternoon I had my normal. They don't have my Elijah Craig on this ship, unfortunately, or fortunately. So, because I drink way too much when I have it. At dinner last night, take a look at the shrimp cocktail. Isn't that gorgeous? And that is 6 huge shrimp. So it cost $4.95 extra. Well worth it. Had a lovely meal last night. I had the pork. I like the pork a lot on both the seashore and the Vina. The pork was on the menu last night, so I ordered that. It was just as good here. So that was excellent. And then later on in the night, that's me and one of the artwork things in the background. There's art everywhere on this ship. It's really, really stunning stuff. All right, this morning, this is not the best camera work in the world, but this is the elevator that's closest to my stateroom, and I got in it. That. But yeah, that's the chocolate factory. So, all right, I'll be back with today's news after a word from one of our network sponsors. All right, folks, back with the news for today. Couple breaking stories this morning. Airport Council International, that's ACI, has joined International Air Transport Association, that's IATA, calling for the removal of all remaining COVID restrictions applying to EU and the Shenzhen area travel to be completely dropped. This includes all testing requirements, the need to present proof of vaccination, or complete a passenger locator form. The organization also wants to see mask wearing scrapped for travel within or between the states where it is no longer required and other indoor environments. So that's for our friends over in Europe. Also over there, Virgin Voyages this morning informed guests that were booked on 3 Valiant Lady sailings in April that those cruises are now canceled. The cruise lines offers compensation, but it comes just over 3 weeks before the first canceled voyage is set to depart. The cancellations are for April 4th, 15th, and 18th for departures out of Portsmouth in the UK. And we are just now squeezing through the hole out next to the lighthouse in Nassau. And this ship is so big, I mean, it just squeezes through this channel. So we are now getting in smoother water finally. It's been a little choppy today too. All right, back with the news, folks. Citing uncertainty and recent world developments, Costa Cruises has announced changes in the 22 and 23 program in South America. Excuse me. According to a statement issued in the local market, the company will no longer operate 2021 built Costa Toscana in Brazil during the season. Instead, the Costa Firenze will debut in the country, taking over the program previously announced for the LNG powered ship. And it's because of LNG supply issues in South America. A year-long celebration marking the 130-year history of the Norwegian Coastal Express and Hurtigruten will occur in 2023, highlighted by a special cruise, tropical historical lectures, and excursions. Always interesting when I can do a story and have to say Hurtigruten, just because I like to say it. Inger Klein Thornhage will be the first female captain of Cunard's newest ocean liner, Queen Anne. Cunard announced the appointment of the captain during International Women's Week last week. U.S. Virgin Islands last week joined a wave of countries and territories relaxing COVID-19 protocols. As of March the 7th, vaccinated travelers from the U.S. no longer need to show proof of a negative COVID test. South Africa's aviation authority has indefinitely grounded flights from Comair, a carrier that is a partner with British Airways and operates Lulua, a low-cost airline. They said it was due to safety precautions. All right, folks, that's the news for today. Let's go over to the chat room and see if anybody is fussing at me, which would not be totally unusual. I hope the stream's coming through. At least seems like it is from my end. Trying to talk loud because of all this noise, and my throat's starting to give way. All right, Carol's with us. Hi, Carol. Gretchen out in Ohio. Sorry, all you guys have snow to deal with. No, I'm not. Are you and I the only ones not on a cruise today, Carol and Gretchen? Well, there's a few more than just you two, but there's a lot of us cruising today. That's for sure. I definitely. Gretchen says she has 89 days. Carol's only looking at 25 days. Not bad. Carol says, I've got another 75 days making up for lost time. Gretchen says she uploaded her documents to United. I love them to scrap European COVID cruise requirements before we sail. That's very much a possibility, Gretchen. Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. How you doing? Yeah, Cindy said that's terrible. Yeah, it was that. The embarkation procedures, they got to fix that. They really have to fix that. I mean, just from what happened yesterday, should I choose to go that route, I could file an ADA lawsuit against them from yesterday, because that clearly went against the entire ADA requirements. Yeah. Do I tend to do that? Not at this point. I am going to confer with my friend that's an advocate and involved in a number of ADA lawsuits to see what she thinks should happen. The other thing, I want to see what they actually do now and if it gets fixed. So we're going to play that one by ear for now. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Hi, Sonny. Very poor customer service. So sorry you had to deal with that. Yeah, it was a bummer. I mean, thankfully, I'm at the point where I could deal with it. You know, I had the offer. I got through it. But it sure wasn't as easy as like the Divina, just 3 weeks ago in Miami. That was a dream compared to yesterday. Hot Air Tom is with us. Hello, Hot Air. Cindy says, thanks, Gretchen. The lowest bid was way too much originally. They just sent me an offer that was half the price. Nice. I jumped on it. John Nanook of the North. John says, National Pie Day, 3.14 pie. Yeah, I saw that this morning, John. I went with Potato Chip Day instead of pie because I could never remember 3.141617 and all those other numbers that go on the end of pie. Nikki's with us from Jacksonville. Hi, Nikki. Sure did enjoy our lunch. That was very nice. Nikki says 63 now, high of 70. I tell you what, when we got on this boat last night in the wind, it was uncomfortably cold. Excuse me. There says I just ordered another box of 6 EMED tests. Yep, I understand. I'm only got one left at home. I got 2 with me because I know to get back on this back half of this cruise, I can get tested on board. Then I'll have to do one of them before I get on Adventure of the Seas in Galveston. And then I'm not sure about the back half of that one, what their procedures are. So I've got the second one there just in case. But yeah, I'm starting to get low on them too. So I've either got to order more or we'll see. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for the news today. Tomorrow, we're going to be in Ocean K. I never can remember which one they want us to say. Oh, the other reason, folks, that this is live today, we are just now in Nassau, and they have no accessible excursions. None. 0. The only thing that could offer me was I could drive my scooter or walk. Well, I'm not walking off the ship, but I'd have to park my scooter and leave it and get on their other transportation. Can't put the scooter on the transportation. So I said, no, that's not accessible. So that's the next issue today to work on. Is try to get a hold of the excursion manager for MSC and say, why aren't there accessible excursions? I know they're available. I've taken them before. So that's the next issue that I'm going to deal with. So anyway, so tomorrow morning, I'm going to tape the show like I was going to do today and play it back at 11. So I will not be live at 11 tomorrow. It will technically be taped, and we'll see how that goes. Then on Wednesday, I will be live again because we're in Ocean Key another day. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. We appreciate the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. It helps me out a lot. The bell notification will tell you when I go live or when I post a video. And we'll be doing lots of that with these cruises coming up. That's it for today. This is the old fat travel guy. You guys have a fabulous day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.